Welcome back, guys. And today, we're going to trigger some people. We're going to hurt some feelings, but that's what we do here. So put your comments down there, like, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about it. Now let's get into it. Don't flatline on flat rate. Now, in our industry, with management groups on social media, technician groups on social media, everybody's going around saying how flat rate incentivizes people to be hacks, cut corners, do less than stellar jobs on the vehicle. I don't necessarily agree with that, but to be honest and keep everything fair, there are some poor techs out there which are bad apples that get everybody a bad name. But before we go down that road and have so many techs saying that flat rate is the devil, let's figure out why. To start off, you should do a truly deep, honest assessment of your own self. Where are you? What is your talent level? Do you honestly think you're better than you are? We're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. We're just trying to get to the point of what's going on here. Meaning, what's your workflow? Are you organized? Do you have the proper tooling? Is your cart directly where you're working at? Do you have everything set up so you can get to it and you're not fumbling around through drawer after drawer trying to find the right tool to get to the job and get it done efficiently? That could be something you need to think about. If we can't look into ourselves and analyze what we're doing wrong, then how can we ever get better? Proper tooling. You definitely need the proper tooling to be efficient on flat rate. Prime example. Let's just say two technicians are working on a car. Technician A and Technician B, same car. Technician A does the wheel bearing, has to take the steering knuckle off, put it in the press, find the adapters, press it out, turn it over, flip it, press it back in. Job's done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours if he's lucky. Technician B has the proper tooling where he can do the bearing on the car. He doesn't have to remove the steering knuckle. He's going to knock that job out in maybe 25, 30 minutes. That's not hacking. That's the proper tooling helping Technician B be efficient. You have to invest in yourself. You have to hone your skills. That's going to actually be one of the biggest things we come to find out, that a lot of people that's complaining about flat rate don't want to invest in themselves, don't want to be better technicians. They just don't. Also, turning one of your weaknesses into a strength. Prime, another example. When I started off at a shop. I was a younger tech, and everybody else was so-called stuck in their ways. They didn't want to do electrical work or cooling work. I wasn't necessarily good at it, but that's all the work I was getting at that shop. So I had to cut my teeth on it, step my game up, invest in myself, develop my skills, and get better at it. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but it doesn't slow me down anymore. And that's the whole point of being the best tech you can be. Understanding where you're weak at, getting better at it, and each day improving until you can be the best technician you can be for yourself and for your family. And when we say like invest in yourself for you and your family, it is with tooling, it's with education, it's everything you can do to make yourself better at this job. You're not competing with the next man, you're competing with yourself to be the best you can be. Because flat rate is not about fixing the cars. The cars are going to get fixed regardless. Flat rate is about being efficient and making sure the job you do is done properly, but also in an efficient amount of time, which means you need to develop a procedure that works for you. Now, nobody else can tell you what procedure it is, but you have to develop one that works for you. Meaning, if you want to pull the car in, do your inspection, while you're doing the inspection, look at this, look at this, look at this. Or if you want to do it the other way around, like pull the car in, lift it up, do everything first, then write it down. However you want to do it, you need to develop a repeatable process that works for you so you won't get sidetracked, you won't forget any steps, and and we rocking and rolling. Also, you want to set goals for yourself and attack them daily. Basically, meaning if you want to make, let's say you want to make 48 hours a week, you just come in and shoot for 10 hours a day, which will give you 50. Then with a little changeover, you'll be straight. So what you do is when you get there, you attack every day like that. Every day is hard work. You get there, I need my 10. We're not worried about the price on the car, how much money the customer has to spend. That doesn't matter. We also not worried about recommending things that the customer don't need. We're just coming in, attacking my hours. I know what goal I set for myself. I know where I need to be at, and I know how to get there. Meaning, if I pull in an oil change with 20,000 miles, I look it over, air filter, cabin filter, check the tire, see if it has any nails, anything like that. Back it out. Not even saying back it out. Recommend it, turn it in, move on to the next car. Now, if you get another car that has like 80,000 miles, you pull it in, you check it over, you look at what you need to look at, you still make your recommendations. And if there's another bay, you grab another ticket and you pull it in. We're not trying to recommend stuff that's not necessarily needed to make our hours. We're just trying to be efficient and productive as we can to make our hours. That's how it should be done on flat rate. Now, this is the point that's going to hurt some feelings and some people may get triggered, but whatever. Technicians, even shop owners are going around saying, using that advocate for hourly. They're using it as some type of moral high ground with the excuse of, oh, I'm trying to do the job the right way. I need adequate time to do it the right way, when actually you're lazy and you're non-efficient. And you're using it as an excuse. You need to understand that this is a business and the service bay actually has a dollar amount attached to it. So whether you invested in it or not, that service bay has to make X amount of dollars a day, a week, a month. If not, the business will fail. If the business fails, you won't have a job. So anybody else is talking about making all these excuses. That's not how business works. And the hourly versus flat rate argument about how it incentivizes you to be dishonest. Let me tell you the truth about that. That nobody seems to want to say in any one of these groups out here. It only shifts who's invested in the time it takes you to fix a car. Meaning, I'm flat rate. If I do that brake job, I want to get that brake job done in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so I can move on and get another car. If you hourly, you don't care because you're hourly. But being that you don't care, management cares. You think management is going to keep you around if every time they give you a car, it's an hour and a half before it gets done? You don't care. You're hourly. You just, hey, I'm getting paid whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that bay that you're using is not as efficient and it's not making as nearly as much money as another bay that somebody's in flat rate in. And y'all want to use that same excuse of, oh, he's a hack, he's this, he's that. Meanwhile, that technician has invested in himself, developed his skills, honed his skills, bought the proper tooling to make himself more efficient and more productive. That doesn't make him a hack. That just means he knows what he's going after and he's dedicated for it. Everybody's not built to be a technician. It's a lot of people in our industry that's not built to be a technician. And if you don't like that, put your comments below. We can go and talk about it. And now we have to get into shop dynamics, meaning the car count, the location of the shop, what kind of techs are needed at this shop. Basically stepping into, like, if it's 6 technicians at your shop and you guys see 10 cars a day, the car count's too low for everybody to make the hours they need to make. So whatever hours you need to make, you're actually in there going after vehicles with 5 other technicians who's trying to make their paycheck too. You have to be honest about your situation. Are you better than all 5 technicians? Even if you are, they still have a right to work as well. And if you're only seeing maybe 10 cars a day, 3 of them are oil changes, that's not enough work for 6 technicians to make their hours in the shop. Some decisions have to be made. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm just saying don't blame flat rate when the shop you're at may not be conducive to you to actually make the hours you want to make. Meaning, like you said, look at the average hours of every tech. If everybody in the shop is making 25 to 30 hours a week, and everybody's working, and then when it's no work, we're just sitting around, that's not a flat rate issue. That's a shop issue, meaning y'all are overstaffed. Maybe when work picks up, y'all aren't overstaffed, but as of right now, it's not enough work to go around and everybody to feed their families. That's something you have to make a decision on. What's right for you? What kind of shop is it that you work at? What kind of work does the shop do? It goes back to your strengths and weaknesses. If your shop does mostly diagnostics and electrical work, and that's not what you're doing, are you really going to thrive at that shop? If people are coming in there with higher end cars that requires a lot more tooling, higher diagnostic equipment, and your shop doesn't carry that equipment, are you really going to make any money at that shop? It's so many things that goes on into the actual shop dynamics versus people just saying, "Oh, it's flat rate. It's flat rate." You know how many technicians make money on flat rate? You know how many shops make money off of flat rate not being dishonest? It just sounds like a lot of people are blaming that or using it as a crutch when they're just lazy, not motivated, don't have the proper tooling, whatever you want to go down the path of, but they want to blame flat rate over hourly. And a lot of people do pay hourly. They used to pay hourly plus commission, bonus, incentives. And I still know in some of these groups, shop owners just live and die by they pay their guys hourly. And that's fine. If that works for you, that works for you. But you're not gonna sit up here and just bash every technician that's on flat rate like they're cheats and hacks because you can't cut it on flat rate. Let's figure out what we need to do. Get with the front desk. That's a big issue in flat rate itself. If your front desk fails at the point of sale, at keeping customers updated with what's going on, they're less likely to spend money with your shop. It doesn't matter how good of a technician you are. If your front desk is failing you on a repeated basis, then nothing's gonna happen. If management will not do what they need to do to make the front desk better, that may not be the shop for you. Just don't blame flat rate for why you're not succeeding in your position. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up right there, man, because we could talk about this for days and days and days and go all the way down the rabbit hole with it. So before we start bashing flat rate, there's a lot of technicians making their hours on flat rate. So what we need to do is look at ourselves and see why we're incapable of making the time on flat rate. Until then, be great, dominate, catch you next time.